back office drip systems, or they're going to this seminar or that symposium or this or that. I think I love personal development. I love technology. I've probably got as many website domains as anybody in the networking industry. I use it from a video perspective. Technology is a fabulous, fabulous tool. But by golly, 2 hours a day, you need to recruit and retail with other human beings interacting. And there's no substitute there. So that's kind of the first thing. And you'd be surprised how few people understand that.
Or will commit to that discipline.
Yeah, or will commit to it.
All
now,
right.
they'll commit to it.
Yep.
They just won't do it.
Right. All right, so let's say that they agree that they're going to do that. Then what would be another step that you would take them into?
I'm going to make sure that they understand that they not bring up during. There are several steps that I believe are inherent in the process of doing our business professionally. I think first of all there's expose, then present, then validate, then enroll, then support. And by that I mean, first thing you've got to do is expose people in some way to the business without, and this is really important caveat, without stating terminology that will raise automatic stereotypical biases against our industry, which most people have. You're right, 67 million people worldwide. People have formulated an opinion of our industry, good or bad, And so if during the exposure step when we're trying to recruit people, if we use terms that bring up these red flags, these stereotypical biases, which we all have, we'll never get them to phase 2, which is the presentation. So the first thing I teach people is, in a very limited way, you want to tweak the excitement or interest level of people with facts that won't elicit these stereotypical biases. And a lot of people don't realize this, but there was 3 months ago an article in Scientific American Mind that was unbelievable. It was why human beings are biased, why human beings are prejudiced.
Yes.
And Jesse Jackson said something that I thought was extremely courageous. He said, they were interviewing him, asking him about, are you prejudiced? He said, if I'm in a strange town and it's after dark and I'm walking down a side street and I hear footsteps behind me and I turn around and look and I see a white face, I'm relieved. He said, that's embarrassing for me as a civil rights advocate at my stage of my career.
Yeah.
But he said, to pretend that I don't myself have inherent biases and stereotypical beliefs would be a fraud. That's the way people are about network marketing. We all have these inherent biases. So during the exposure step, what I teach you is let's spend 2 hours exposing as many people as possible to points of interest that do not embody terminology that's going to bring up those inherent biases. Excuse me, if you could earn an extra $500 a week from a home business, or have you ever considered a business where you could create passive residual income at home? These are all terms that bring up these immediate red flags. And so and they might be nice to you and say, oh gee Eric, that sounds great, tell me more, but they're not going with it because they search, their brain instantaneously searches through these archives of negative imagery about our industry, and then you never get them to the presentation stage. If on the other hand I say to you in our preliminary meeting, when we first meet, if I say, I just got to ask you something, how many units of principal's interest have you accumulated? Principal's interest. Yeah, how many units do you and your family have you accumulated over the years? Now, I'm talking about units that are tied to a proprietary funding vehicle with non-sequential disbursements.
I don't understand anything that you just said.
Well, but I mean, do you have...
Because I'm an amateur when it comes to all that stuff.
How many units do you have? I mean, do you have any units tucked away? No. In fact, most people will say, what's a unit?
Right.
That's
what I would say.
Yeah, exactly. And I said, what's a unit? $10,000. So like if you needed 3 units, you'd need $30,000 a month. So, I tell you what, you obviously don't know about this yet, about proprietary funding vehicles. Go check out this website, or I'd hand them a CD. Listen to this and it'll give you a little bit of an understanding about emergency retirement planning, and then call me if you're interested. Now you're going to go away, and I don't care how bright you are, and I don't care your field, your profession, your educational background, your head's spinning. But I haven't created any kind. All I've taken is synonyms out of a thesaurus and described network marketing in a way that you've never heard, because I can circumnavigate your inherent biases. You're going to listen to that. What's this crazy nut talking about? Now, if the tool that I give you, whether it's a CD, a 10-minute CD, I recently did one called Clap If You Believe in Fairies. And the whole premise was, when we were kids, we saw Peter Pan, and there was a magic moment in the movie when the offstage guy said, "Oh my goodness, Tinkerbell's light's dimming. Boys and girls, clap if you believe in fairies and we'll save her life." And we all clapped. Now, we were second graders, but we know it was bull. But we saved Tinkerbell's life. And so the point of this message, without getting into network marketing, is saying, we're adults now, but the offstage voice is saying, clap if you believe in retirement, clap if you believe in 401ks, clap if you believe in Wall Street. So when I give you that CD and you listen to it, I'm going to tweak your imagination even more. But you're never going to hear a word about passive residual income, about network marketing, none of that. Because I want to get you to the presentation. And if I tip you off in the exposure step, you're never coming back. So the first thing I'm going to teach you as a new person, once you're committed to working 2 hours a day, is how to work those 2 hours. And the way that you want to work those 2 hours is professionally engaged in reaching as many people as you can with information that will interest them, not turn them off. And if I can get a person to do that 2 hours a day, you're either going to talk to 10, 20, or 30 people a day, and in a year, you're wealthy.